Okay everyone, so this is a video recording for the synoptic practice 2 from the Mindful website, task 2.1. Okay, so let's start off the question. So this is about a travel company. You need to help them to prepare a job quote which will calculate the quote of the job immediately rather than taking some time, so that you can inform to the customers. So let's see how do we need to start off it. So there are 4 elements to the daily charge rate, which is the type of the vehicle, an environment charge, day of hire, and the number of driver hours. So whenever you want to calculate the price for the job, they have to take this into consideration. You need to know what type of vehicle they are hiring, what is the environmental charge for that vehicle, what is the day they are hiring the vehicle, and also the number of drivers hours they are using. Okay, and they told you that the environment charge can be calculated by multiplying the emissions with the percentage, which is currently 12%, which is already been given to you. So open the Limos worksheet and add the heading environment charge in cell E1. Okay, and format all columns so that the width is 15 and wrap any headings and centrally aligned. So open the Limos, in cell E1 type environment charge and make sure all the columns are of the size width 15. Okay, so highlight your data, format column width and make it 15 in the box given and say OK. And make sure all the headings are used for wrap text. Where is my wrap text? There it is. And ensure that they are clearly seen. Let's make them a little bit bigger. Centrally aligned and bold if you want. And somewhere later they also ask them to change into green color, so I'm doing that now itself. Okay, add internal and external borders to range E1 to E10. So that's just borders. Select E1 to E10, right click over, click over here near the borders and all borders. Okay, that will add both internal and external borders. Okay, so that's done. Then fill the range A1 to E1 with green. I done that one. In cell E2, use a formula that includes absolute cell referencing and links to cell B16 in the pricing worksheet to calculate the environment change. So to calculate the environment change, the formula was the CO2 emissions multiplied by the percentage. So this percentage is in the sheet pricing, and the current percentage of CO2 emissions environment charge is grams per mile is 12%. So use that. Use absolute referencing on B16 and press enter. So that will calculate the environment charge for the first one. Copy and paste it to the remaining cells. So B16 is not changing, but C6 has become C7, then C8, and then C9, and so on. Okay. So use direct cell referencing to complete all columns. So that is what we have done. So one is absolutely referenced, but the next one is direct referencing because the cell number is changing. That is what they meant when they said that. Continuing, format all the columns to currency with a pound sign and 2 decimal places. Okay, these are all simple things, so but I'll just complete it. Format currency and 2 decimal places. Bart wants to be able to use one worksheet when a customer is on the phone, which will automatically prepare a figure that can be quoted. Open a new worksheet, rename it job quote, and color the tab green and place the tab between pricing and payroll. So open a new tab, call it job quote. So rename it, call it job quote, and color the tab green. So just right click here. Right click is not working. Let's come out. Right click, and then you can see an option called tab color. Okay, I'm not able to show it, is coming outside my screen. So when you right click, just below protect sheet, view code, move or copy, there is an option called tab color. Select that tab color and change your tab color to green. You can't see it now, but when you move to a different sheet, you can see this tab color is green. Okay, so that's it. That's how you do the tab coloring. So right click on the tab, click on tab color and change the tab color. You won't see it now, but when you move to a different sheet, you can see the tab color in green. They want this tab to be in between pricing and payroll. So drag it to in between pricing and payroll. Okay, so that's over there. Okay, so we got our job code sheet now. Okay, so let's continue. Starting in cell A1, add the column headings: registration number, type, basic charge, and so on. Okay, I completed this in some other sheets. I'll just copy paste all the headings from there. Okay, so they want various headings in this one, so I'll just copy paste all that headings into here. Control C in cell A1. So in cell A1, I typed all the headings. Make sure you call autofit so that all the headings are clearly seen. Okay. Then enter a dummy registration number in cell A2 from the Limos worksheet. So use any registration number from here. Okay, I will use the first one. Control C and put it here because it's just a dummy. They are just checking if it is working or not. So you can enter any one, but you need to make sure you use from the given list over there. Okay, so we entered it. Now they want use VLOOKUP function to complete the information required in cell B2 to D2. So we need to fill information from in B2, C2 and D2. B2 is a type of the vehicle and D2 is environment charge, which can be picked up from your Limos sheet, and C2 is a basic charge which needs to be picked up from the pricing sheet. Okay, so we need to use VLOOKUPs. Okay, so equal to formulas, lookup and referencing, VLOOKUP. Lookup value is my registration number because all the data will depend on the registration number. Table array is in the Limos. Select the whole table because we need the environment charge also. Use absolute referencing, and type, as you can see, is in column 2. Absolute referencing, column number 2, and range lookup is false. And you can see that the type of the car is now given to you. Do the same for the environment charge, but please take a look. Environment charge is in column number 5. So just copy paste this, but change the column number to 5. So Control C, Control V. Your still lookup value should be A2. If you use absolute referencing on that also, this problem might have not happened. And change the column number to 5. So that will give you the environment charge. Use your autofit once again because some data is going out of their columns. Okay, and now we need the basic charge. So but the basic charge is in a different sheet, so we need to use one more VLOOKUP. So equal to formulas, lookup and reference, VLOOKUP. Lookup value is still your registration number. Table array is in the pricing sheet, and this is your table. This will decide your basic charge. Basic charge is in column 3. So absolute referencing, column 3, range lookup is false, and say OK. What is happening? Let me try that again. Equal to lookup and reference, VLOOKUP. Oh, sorry. The basic charge is depending on the type, not on the registration number. So lookup value should be the type. Table array, pricing, column number 3, range lookup false, and use this in absolute referencing and say OK. So that has picked up the basic charge also. Okay, if you want you can cross check. So Lincoln Navigator basic charge is 25. So you can see it is calculated. Okay. Continue. So we used VLOOKUP to fill up all the data from B2 to D2. Open the pricing worksheet. Select cells B8 to H8 and the days of the week and name the range as weekdays. So open pricing. Highlight the cells from B8 to H8 and you need to name this range as weekdays. So right click over here. You can't see this in the window, but if you scroll to the bottom one item, it says define name. Okay, it says define name. Click on that. This small window will open. Type weekdays in that and say OK. So we have named this range as weekdays. In the job code worksheet, use data validation to create a list in column E that restrict the contents to the cell to the range name weekdays. So now we need to apply to the range in the job code by using data validation. So job code, day of the week, data validation. We want to allow a list and the source is the name of the range what we created. So just type equal to and say weekdays and that's it. You don't need to go back to that sheet or anything. Okay, you already named that range, so just use the name of the range over here. So equal to weekdays and say OK, and you can see that weekdays are coming over here now. Okay, let's continue. Use HLOOKUP function to complete the information required in cell F2. So what do we see in F2? In F2 we need the day charge. Day charge will depend on the day of the week. So just select some dummy day of the week. Okay, I will say Saturday. So day charge will depend upon the day of the week. But if you see in the pricing, the days are arranged horizontally, not vertically. So because of that, we need to use HLOOKUP. So over here, formulas, lookup and reference, HLOOKUP. Lookup value will be the day of the week. Table array will be the pricing from A8 to up to H9. Absolute referencing. Row index number will be 2 because in the first row you had the days of the week and the second row you had the charge. So row 2 will be the charge what you want to display and the range lookup will be false and say OK. So you got the day charge. Okay. Next, the business recovers overheads on the driver's hours at the rate of 20 pounds per hour. So overhead is 20 pounds per hour and their profit is 30% on the total cost of the jobs. Open the job code worksheet, add headed driver hours in cell A6 and a dummy number in cell B6. We cannot calculate a code without knowing how many driver hours they need, so they want you to input some dummy data. So in cell A6 they want you to type driver hours and in cell B6 they want you to put a dummy number, so I put 10. Just auto fitting again to make sure all the columns are clearly seen. Okay, then continuing. Use formulas in G2 to K2 to calculate the appropriate content. Ensure the column widths are still appropriate and all the contents are visible. So I need to now fill up all the cells from G2 to up to K2 using all the information given in the question. So my driver hours are being given to me, but I need to calculate. I think the heading is not driver hours over here. Let me just check the data once. I might have put the wrong heading in there. Yeah, it is driver hours only. Okay, that's fine. So let's calculate the Okay, so to calculate the driver hours, we need to multiply the driver hours with the daily charge for the drivers, which is in the pricing sheet. So if you go to the pricing sheet, you can see daily charge per driver is 15. So take that only in one cell. So if you want, you can use absolute referencing and come back. So because I'm using 10 driver hours and price per hour is 15, my driver hours is 150. Overheads, you can see in the question, overheads was 20 pounds per driver hour. As you can see somewhere it was given before. Driver hours at the rate of 20 pounds per hour. Okay, so overheads is again the driver hours multiplied by 20. Let's calculate the total cost. So total cost is the basic charge plus the environment charge plus the day charge plus driver hours charge plus the overheads. So adding all these 5 cells together will give you the total cost. Calculate the profit on that, which is 30% markup. So I2 multiplied by 30% or 0.30, and quote price is the total of the total cost plus the profit. So this particular job is going to cost the customer 528 pounds. Okay, let's continue. They want to change all the monetary values to currency with a pound sign. So let's do that. Select all the monetary values. Right click, format cells, currency, and 2 decimal places. Okay, that's done. Highlight the cells that require information to be input manually with green fill and make the quote price to be bold. So out of this data, most of them are automatically calculated except some things. So they want you to highlight all the information. It needs to be manually input. So registration number should be manually input. Then day of the week also should be manually input. And the driver hours should be manually input. And everything else will be calculated using the formulas. Now they want you to check if everything is right or not. Check the job quote works correctly by calculating the quote price for a job requiring Cadillac Escalade, registration number F22 SSP, for 2 hours on which day you need to see? On a Friday. So for 2 hours on a Friday. And the registration number is FF22 SSP. So change the registration number here, FF22 SSP. And they need it for 2 hours on a Friday. And you can see the price is 173 pounds and 52. Make it bold. Let's go if we can check. So it should be 173.52, which is matching. Insert 4 new rows above the table and add headings, quote number, customer, and date in A1 and A3. So they want you to add 4 new rows on the top of this. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then they want you to enter some data, quote number, customer, and date. And then in cell B1, quote number is 1, B2 C test, and in B3 they want you to put today's date. Quote number 1, C test, and today's date equal to today, and open and close brackets. Afterwards, right align all those values. Okay, these are simple things. Use your right align. Okay, that's it. So that's all the D part of the question done. Let's look at the E part of the question. Note that the quote is complete. You need to return to the normal bookkeeping task. So this part of the question is now completed. We are doing a different part of the question. So go to the payroll. So there are actually calculated some wages for the payroll. You need to use a journal to show the double entries for the payroll to show how it is divided among the cost centers. Okay. Now when we say journal for payroll, do not think about the payroll double entries which we learned in level 2. That is financial accounting. This payroll journal entries over here is the journal entries which you learned in your management accounting from the journal topic. Okay. Sorry, from the labor topic. Okay. So we need to prepare a journal from D2 onwards or D1 onwards. Okay. So say payroll journals. You can draw a format by yourself. So I am identifying 5 columns because I need details. I need the account number and debit and credit column. So details, account number, debit and credit. So I will need this many columns to do that. I will need a bigger details column. Okay. So there we go. So we have details. We have the account number. And we have the debit column. And then we have the credit column. Okay. And just start doing your double entries for the payroll. So first is your direct labor is 4,678. Account code for direct labor is 2,400. Direct labor is expenses. So direct labor account will be debited 4,678 and wages control account will be credited. Account number 4,600 4678. Then indirect labor. Sorry, the account name should not be direct labor. It's production drivers. Then indirect labor will be production overheads. $2,200 and wages control 4,600. Amount is 2,036. You can refer to the cell value directly if you don't want to enter them. Last one is the non-production overheads. Non-production overheads and wages control. Non-production overheads is 2,300. Wages control 4,600. Amount 518 and 518. Check your totals once. Both the columns should have the same total. And just check if these values have been entered correctly. 7,232. Yes, and your payroll also 7,232. So all the items are matching. Okay. If you want, you can delete them. You don't need to leave them over here. Okay. But leave them in the journals column. Okay. So that's your task 2.1 from the synoptic practice 2. Okay. After you watch the video, if you still have any questions, please drop me an email. Okay. Thank you.